Hey guys, ladies, Tommy Aldridge here. I'm here to share some information about my time spent with the company of Ozzy and Randy and so forth and so on. And this is a track that I did with Jakey Lee playing. It was not long after we lost Randy.
Bark at the moon.
This particular track, Bark at the Moon, was the follow-up after Ozzy's huge success with the prior two records. So it was, to say it was a little pressure-filled would be a huge understatement. My heart went out to Jake because he was trying to fill some pretty big shoes. But anyway, a little bit of the rundown. The intro, just trying to make something a little bit that I hadn't heard 1,000 times before, because it's very stock, in the box kind of track, you know. There's not a lot of places you can really go within the musical context. So still trying to make them a little bit different without it sounding like, you know, some kind of gospel chops event, you know.
If you're enjoying this video with Tommy Aldridge, we have a bunch of other performances and story clips over on the Drumeo Clips YouTube channel. It's a brand new channel, go subscribe to it. There's a ton of other great stuff over there. And with that, let's get back to the video.
As far as my approach on this particular tune with two kick drums, like in the bridge section or the pre-choruses, there's a pattern in there. And what I've always tried to do with the kick drums is, this is primarily more for guys that are using a single kick with a double pedal. And it's probably a good rule of thumb to keep the beater off the head. So you're not muffling your left bass drum by keeping your right bass drum beater planted, you know, and vice versa. And in that section I was talking about, it comes out, I don't know if it's a pre-chorus after the verse, and it's just... Because you have a lot more headroom when you have two kicks, just like when you use two sticks instead of one, you have a little bit more headroom in your playing. So it's not a matter of ghost notes, but with kick drums, it's like you don't play the note. Okay, the middle breakdown, in that particular take, I did it a little bit differently, I think. Very, very simple. It's just, you know, I'm following Jake's riff on the kick drum, essentially, you know. And Bob, Daisley, we had a good hookup, thankfully. Bob's a real pleasure to work with. You can't hear any of this on the album. Be that as it may, there was more going on than the album version of it lets you know about, you know. But it's doing the same thing, but between the toms. And again, this is the same part, the same figure. I'm just assigning it to a different sound source. So instead of between the snare and the splash, or between the snare and the kicks are always underneath it, spread across the tom-tom, so it's speed. And again, it was just to spread the joy, so to speak, you know. Still faithful to whatever was going on originally, so people don't think, well, can recognize the song, and not going too far from that, you know, but still making it keeping it interesting, and it's just a little variation and a little kind of, you know, magic powder sprinkled on top, you know.